What if I told you that in Indian mythology, there is a goddess who does not simply bless people with wealth, but with something even more precious than gold? What if true abundance does not begin in treasure, but in a soul pure enough to receive grace? And what if this goddess does not arrive through war, darkness, or destruction, but rises instead through beauty, softness, and a lotus blooming above the chaos of the world? That goddess is Kamalatmika. Many people look at her and see only prosperity, but those who look deeper see something far greater. Kamalatmika is not only about riches, she is about a kind of abundance that, if misunderstood, leaves a person feeling empty, even while holding the whole world in their hands. Because the deepest poverty is not always the absence of money. Sometimes it is the absence of wonder, the absence of gratitude, the absence of peace, the absence of a heart that still knows how to bloom. And that is exactly where Kamalatmika begins. In the Tantric and Shakta traditions of Hinduism, Kamalatmika, also known as Kamala, is one of the Dasha Mahavidyas, the 10 great wisdom goddesses. She is usually regarded as the last of the Mahavidyas, and she is deeply connected with Lakshmi, the goddess of beauty, fortune, fertility, and auspicious abundance. But in the Mahavidya tradition, Kamalatmika is not merely Lakshmi in a familiar form. She carries a more inward and spiritual meaning. She represents not only prosperity, but the deeper consciousness behind true prosperity. And that is what makes her story so special. Because for many people, wealth is something outside the self: money, possessions, status, luck, power. But Kamalatmika enters mythology almost like a correction to that idea. She reminds us that if abundance exists only on the outside, it can disappear the moment fear, greed, or inner emptiness begins to rule the mind. In other words, a person may have much and still live in deep poverty. Poverty of peace, poverty of contentment, poverty of inner beauty, poverty of gratitude. That is why Kamalatmika is not simply the goddess of material gain. She is the goddess of sacred abundance. An abundance that includes beauty, grace, harmony, purity, and spiritual fullness. Her imagery tells this story without words. She is often shown seated or standing upon a lotus, radiant, calm, and untouched by the mud from which the lotus rises. Sometimes she is accompanied by elephants, a traditional sign of royal authority, fertility, rain, and blessing. The message is powerful. True abundance does not mean being untouched by the world. It means rising through the world without losing purity. And that symbolism becomes even more moving when we think about human life. Because most people do not bloom in perfect conditions. They bloom after hardship, after uncertainty, after disappointment, after learning how to remain soft in a world that often teaches hardness. That is why the lotus is such a perfect symbol for Kamalatmika. She is not the goddess of easy comfort. She is the goddess of beauty that survives darkness. She is the quiet proof that purity is not the same as fragility. Something can be gentle and still be powerful. Something can be beautiful and still endure suffering. Something can be soft and still outlast the storm. And perhaps that is why her presence feels so healing. Because Kamalatmika does not shame the human desire for beauty, love, comfort, or well-being. She refines it. She teaches that there is nothing wrong with wanting a beautiful life. The danger begins only when beauty is separated from wisdom, when abundance is separated from gratitude, when desire is separated from the soul. But where does Kamalatmika come from? That is where the story becomes more mystical. Because when she is understood through her connection with Lakshmi, her deeper symbolic origin leads back to one of the most famous episodes in Hindu mythology, the churning of the ocean of milk, known as Samudra Manthana. In that myth, gods and anti-gods churn the cosmic ocean in search of Amrita, the nectar of immortality. Many sacred beings and treasures emerge from the ocean during this event, and Lakshmi is one of the most radiant among them. Since Kamalatmika is closely linked with Lakshmi, her symbolism is often read through that same cosmic pattern. Blessing emerging from turbulence, beauty emerging from churned depths, and grace appearing after great upheaval. And that is a beautiful truth. Because it means that the greatest blessings do not always appear when life is calm. Sometimes they appear only after life has shaken us deeply, after confusion, after struggle, after uncertainty. after the old has been stirred, broken, and transformed. It is as if mythology is whispering something timeless. The lotus does not bloom in dry stone, it blooms through water, mud, and rising. And Kamalatmika is that lotus in its most divine form. This is why she is so different from a simple image of fortune. She does not teach people to chase wealth at any cost. She teaches that real prosperity must be conscious, it must be balanced, it must be beautiful, it must be grateful, it must be held without becoming slavery to desire. And this is why her place as the final Mahavidya is so meaningful. After the fierce, mysterious, and transformative forms of the divine feminine, Kamalatmika appears like a completion. She feels like the moment when the storm has passed, and what remains is not emptiness but fullness, not noise but quiet radiance, not craving but grace. She feels like the final lesson after a long spiritual journey, that the soul is not meant only to survive, it is also meant to flower, not only to endure darkness, but to rediscover beauty, not only to renounce illusion, but to recognize blessing. And here lies the true twist in her story. Many people think spirituality means rejecting beauty, comfort, and abundance. But Kamalatmika suggests something more subtle. Beauty is not the enemy of the soul. Abundance is not the enemy of awakening. The real question is not whether a person has wealth. The real question is this: is that wealth serving the light within you, or feeding the emptiness within you? That is why Kamalatmika is such a refined goddess. She does not come to teach hatred of the world. She comes to teach a purified way of living within it, to appreciate beauty without becoming blinded by it, to receive abundance without becoming controlled by greed, to live among blessings without losing the purity of the heart. She is radiant, but not shallow, prosperous, but not dependent, soft, but not weak, beautiful, but rooted in truth. If we read her psychologically, Kamalatmika speaks directly to one of the deepest modern wounds, the feeling that no matter how much we gain, it is never enough. The more we chase success, the more peace slips away. The more we collect beautiful things, the less able we become to feel beauty itself. The more we compare our lives, the less we can receive the blessing already present in them. Kamalatmika enters that emptiness with a quieter question, not, what do you own? But, is your soul in bloom? Are you living in gratitude? Are you becoming beautiful from within? Are you receiving life as blessing? Or spending your whole life chasing what you think is missing? That is why Kamalatmika feels so gentle and yet so profound. She sits on the lotus, but she is not fragile. She offers blessing, but she does not encourage greed. She is linked with abundance, but she makes it clear that blessing can never stay where the heart is ruled by anxiety. If Lakshmi makes people think of prosperity, then Kamalatmika makes people understand that prosperity is also a state of consciousness. A home filled with light, a heart filled with gratitude, a life with beauty, rhythm, and harmony, a soul quiet enough to receive what it already has. That is the kind of wealth that is hardest to lose. And perhaps that is Kamalatmika's deepest secret. She does not come to turn human beings into collectors of things. She comes to teach that the most beautiful life is not the one that has the most, but the one in which beauty, abundance, and the soul can exist together without wounding one another. Perhaps that is why her image remains so luminous, because in a restless world, Kamalatmika reminds us that enough can be sacred, that beauty can be honest, that fullness can be quiet, and that sometimes the richest life is not the loudest one, but the one that blooms softly, like a lotus, from within. If Kamalatmika's story touched your heart, leave a comment and tell me, what do you think true wealth really is, having more, or living beautifully with enough? And if you enjoy stories of Hindu mythology, sacred goddesses, and deeper meanings behind abundance, beauty, and spiritual life, do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs this message today.